he needs a couple more games really. I wouldn't take him out of the starting 11. I'm not saying that, but he just needs a few more games to get up to speed with how he was performing before.
Can I know we're doing the thing. Can I ask y'all a question real quick?
Go on.
How many more games do we give him to get back into form? I mean, so say he's not back in form for another game or 3. Do we move? I said, do we move Van der Ven over there and then put Dragic in the middle?
No.
But
I was going to say, to be honest, we got no choice but to play him because he's the only one we got.
Yeah,
I would say we either have to move VDV over there or we have to play Spence.
I don't think it's as bad as that. I don't think.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
He hasn't had a proper pre-season because he was injured.
That's what I'm saying. I have no doubt he's going to get back into form, but I think it's going to be a game or 2 games to get him back to his best. I don't think it's a problem. I have no doubt he's going to get back to his best, but I just think it's taken a little bit longer than the rest of the players that have had a pre-season.
That makes sense. Yeah, I feel you.
You doggy.
I'm gonna agree with Phil here. 6.
Whoa.
Same reasons, really. The thing with the doggy I've noticed even from last season, he tends to switch off sometimes, and it's something he needs to work on because he did a few mistakes last season. I think I remember with the United, or was it United? Someone else. We passed the ball straight to and they scored. But he's killed that out of his game, honestly. And I just think, again, like Phil said, because he hasn't played pre-season, it's just going to take a while for him to get back up to speed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Colin, you doggy.
Yeah, 6 is fair. He is getting up to speed. He was wonderful at times last season. I think he can get back. I can get back to that. He's also fairly young. Sometimes defensive players don't fully mature and get to their best until they're a little bit older. And he's by far the best we've got. We don't have another option really. Our other options are, like I was saying, not good. So 6. Let's play him and let's get him back into form. 6 for me.
Soren?
Well, I was going to say 6, but seeing as has said 6, I can't agree with him. So I'm going to say 6.15. No, I think, I think I'm probably going to go with a 6 as well because he wasn't terrible, but he didn't really do a lot neither. I think, like Phil said, I think he hit it on the nail on the head. He's just not match fit. He's just not at the races. So, 6.5 because I think 6 is quite low and I think 7's too high. So 6.5. Sorry,
Mark, you doggy.
Yeah, a 6. A 6. Everyone said it. He's not match fit. He's not really at the races. He had no pre-season. He can do better, but to be honest, he's the only one we got at the moment.
Ellie?
So
I'm sorry, Mark. Go on, carry on.
No, that's right. No, that's right. I'm done.
Ellie, you doggy.
You doggy. You can't really give him a high mark because we know what he's capable of, and it's not what he's producing in the last couple of matches. And it's obviously because, like the rest of them say, it's match fitness. So he needs to get that up. I think 6 is a fair score because you can't give him a 5 because he did do some good things and he links up quite well, and he did bomb forward, but he's not the same player that we know because we've seen what he can do, and he's a very exciting player. When he gets going, he just goes past players like they're not there. So I think 6 is a really good score for him because that's what he deserves. He don't deserve any less or any more.
Right, and I'm giving him a 6 as well. Now, batten down hatches. VDV, Phil?
I'm going to go with a 9.
9?
Because I don't think there is a perfect performance, to be honest with you. So I'm going to go with a 9. Yeah, there's not much really he did wrong. he can polish up on his aerial ability on set pieces. That's why I'd probably knock 1 point off. But everything else he did with assurance, he's a brilliant player, and I think we're very, very lucky to have him, and I hope he's here for the next 5-10 years.
Yeah.
AJ, VDV.
Oi, Soren, I can hear you laughing already.
Just mark the run.
Go on.
I'd give him a 10. I'd give him a 10 just for the run alone. But realistically, I'll say 9. I think he was good defensively, and that run, I mean, he's got to go in the Hall of Fame for that, surely.
Well, what about Sonny's run against Burnley then?
He
Yeah,
gets in there with Sonny.
Son against Burnley and against Chelsea absolutely ripped them apart.
Wembley, yeah, when he done Louise and
absolutely. Those goals are just special. Only Son could have scored those. There is no other player on our team in the last 10 years that could have scored that type of goal, and he did it twice. Ran through Burnley, ran round Chelsea. Incredible.
As VDV.
I'm probably going against the grain here, but I'll give him an 8.
How dare you?
Yeah. But I don't think it's not because he played badly. I just don't think he had that much to do in terms of recoveries compared to previous games. So you didn't really see him do that much, but I couldn't give him less than like an 8 because of the goal. Well, not the goal we scored, but the goal we set up. So, yeah.
Colin
has hit it on the head. I'm going to give him an 8 also.
Colin.
I know it seems harsh maybe, but yeah, I mean, just didn't quite have enough to do for it to be much higher than that. But he did well. He did great. I mean, 8 and 80. That's a B. That's a B here in America. You know what I mean? Like that's a good score. Yeah, the run maybe knocks it up to a 9, but I don't know. I don't want to overhype anybody. 8. We'll just go with 8.
Okay. Soren?
Let's be realistic here. The run was basically what it was. He kicked the ball on his own box, and because he runs that fast, he was just stumbling all the way to the other end. And it wasn't really a tactical run. So I mean, we can only give him a 6, surely. Let's be a bit more down to earth. No, I find it hard not to give him a 9, and I find it hard not to score it at 8 because I don't think any of the defenders had a massive amount to do. So I'm going to go 8.5.
He's half. He's half. What's going on? Sitting on the bench here, sorry.
Oh.
What's wrong with 8.5? How's that harsh?
Mark, VDV?
Ooh, yeah. Well, in all fairness, he is a defender and he didn't have nothing to do. Really. But for the run, 8. But because the run deserves a hell of a lot, but let's face it, he's a defender and he shouldn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in my opinion. But he never had nothing to do because Everton never offered nothing. If he'd have put, if we were playing, I don't know, Real Madrid or something, and he'd saved 3 goals by his tackles and his pace and all that, it would have been 10. You know?
Yeah. No, it's fair enough. Ellie, VDV.
It's difficult because he was, like everybody says, he didn't have much to do defensively, but that's not his fault. But the run was sublime. That's why I've got to give him a 9. And I'm
Ellie.
Yeah, I have to give him a 9 because you rarely see somebody run and keep control of the ball for that distance. I just feel he deserves a 9 just for the run. And the way he slipped it to Sonny, he had the presence of mind to slip it to Sonny with a very beautifully weighted pass. And all Sonny had still a lot to do. It was a tight angle, but I've just got. He got me off my seat just watching him, and I filmed it as well. So, yeah.
The only thing I would argue against the run is there wasn't actually a challenge to him, was there?
No,
It was
that's because he left everybody to dead.
No,
Yeah.
I think they all stood off him. And look, I'm not knocking the run. I'm not having AJ coming down after me because
AJ will get you. He'll get you.
Yeah, but
when Sonny ran, he didn't have a challenge on him as well.
Well, he did.
Sonny
he had players running by the side of him.
Yeah, which Van der Ven didn't. No, but
several players against Burnley tried to chop Sonny down.
I was coming
but
to
they
that
couldn't.
mark, actually. If a player had scored a goal like that against us, our fan base was going, "Why didn't no one chop him down?"
Yeah,
I mean, they would, wouldn't they?
Couldn't catch him to chop him down.
Yeah.
It was a superb run, but there wasn't a challenge put in.
Yeah,
to me,
it was like the parting of the Red Sea. It was like the parting of the Red Sea when he ran out there because there was nobody there.
He used his pace.
You rarely see it. You rarely see that sort of run by any player.
But you could see the gap that there was just a gaping hole down the middle of the field.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree, but you still have to utilise.
No, I mean, I'm not knocking the run. You
gave him 8.5 dollars, so you went halfway, didn't you?
I mean, I'd have been knackered by the time I got to my own edge of my own box, and he started there. So I mean, I'm not going to say anything against it, but I'm just saying for the run as good as it was allowed to happen.
You know what it reminded me of? Do you remember when we played Man United and Vertonghen went on that run away from home, and he scored the goal that game?
Was that 3-2?
It reminded me of that.
I mean, had he scored at the end, then it would have been.
AUB,
I wanted him to have a pop, to be honest.
I'm giving VDV an 8. The other interceptions he made were good, but I look at it in the context over 90 minutes as well. So he gets an 8 for me. Right, we'll move on to AJ Romero.
Romero, 9. Got to be a 9. If I'm marking Mickey a 9, I mean, he gets a clean sheet and he scored a solid goal from a corner, rose above everyone, absolutely powered it home. Got to be a 9.
Fantastic neck muscles. Boof.
Absolutely.
Phil Romero, you there? All
Has
right,
he gone?
I'll come back to him.
He's probably got the loo.
Probably got a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Hey, Romero.
I'm giving him an 8. I thought it was good that he got his goal, so I could give him a 7 for that. But like you, Adrian, I kind of have a pet peeve with Romero, and it doesn't seem to be going away. You say that he holds onto the ball too long. There was an instance in the first half. If you guys remember this, I think it was maybe 1 or 2-0 up. We were just playing it around the back, and Romero was just casually just strolling around. And you know how we all get impatient for them to get rid of it out of the box. Because I end up having to get up and start swearing at them to get rid of the ball. Because it's like, what the hell? We play ourselves into trouble so much. It's just and Romero was the guy that was doing it. So I was like,
he does take you
my head off, and they finally got rid of it. But
you know why he does that, Has? Because his balls are that big, he's got to pick out which is the ball to kick.
Didn't take long, did it? Mind you, only took Aaron half to get right.
Yeah, I was
Colin Romero.
I'd have to agree. I think 9 is a fair score for him. Played really well. Marshaled the defense. Played us out from the back a lot. Yeah, there might be a little bit more to be desired from that, but he can improve there. He probably will improve there. And then the goal was really nicely taken. It's nice to have one of our players get their head on a ball first, because that doesn't happen all that often. So I'm going with 9 for the man, agreeing with my boy AJ.
Okay. Soren?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to echo. I mean, I was going to say 8.5, but the fact he got the goal, I think you've got to give him that little bit extra. He didn't make that run, but I don't think he needs to make the run because he's passing. I mean, I know where Haz is coming from when he says he hangs onto it, but his passing range and his vision and his willingness to go forward. I think he deserves a 9, definitely.
Okay. I think Haz has had to go.
Okay.
Mark.
Oh, that's what's that? Yeah, just for scoring, a 9. A 9. Yeah, just for the goal. Yeah.
Ellie Romero.
Yeah. He's one of those players who splits the fan base. He's the only one really with a lot of aggression in our team, which I love. I think it's brilliant. It reminds me of Graham Roberts. Goes crunching in, doesn't take any prisoners. And he didn't really have to do that in this game because everyone were pants. But what I did see is that he was very cultured, very thoughtful when he passed the ball. He's got very good vision, like Soren pointed out. And the goal was fabulous. The way he rose above. And Tarkowski is no slouch defender. He's mean, and he'll get stuck in, and he'll put his hip in, or he'll put his arm in, like to dig you. Right. So he's a tough defender. For him to beat him, I can't remember the other defender, but he beat another man as well to it. And he powered it in. So I think he does deserve a 9 because his distribution was fantastic as well. Although
those passes to Maddison were exquisite.
Fantastic. There was one brilliant pass which I thought brilliant, because sometimes you have to take your time in football. I don't believe he's not a typical Ange Postecoglou defender or player to that effect, because he doesn't move the ball quickly. He likes to nurture. He likes to feel the ball. He's Argentinian, isn't he? He likes to feel his ball. Right? So I won't get too rude. But what I like about him, he's very thoughtful when he passes the ball. He doesn't just pass it willy-nilly. And 9 times out of 10, it'll be a really good ball. So
willy-nilly?
I love
willy-nilly?
Yeah.
Can willy-nilly play on the right wing?
He could
if
do.
so, sign him up.
He could in a lot. Johnson.
I want Jose on the team.
He does take his time sometimes, and I do get a little bit frustrated sometimes. But when he pulls out a pass, I thought, well, it was worth waiting for. So yeah, I think a 9 is deserved.
Phil Romero, score.
Romero.
Romero.
He's my favourite player, so I'm going to give him a good score here. To be fair, I'm going to go. Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9. I'm going to give him a 9. Okay. Simply because of his distribution with the ball, especially to Maddison for them chances. Mm-hmm. He should have put them away. By the way.
Should have,
but
yeah,
I think Romero uses class, especially when he's on the ball, and it's his aggression. And I think he's channeled that as well now, from last year. I think he knows when to sort of go in for challenges now. He's not so rash. I think he's improved his game no end with that. So yeah, I think a 9 for Romero.
I know it's only been 2 games. I know it's only been 2 games, but he hasn't received a card yet, has he?
No,
that's astonishing.
I mean, I'll come to that. I'm giving him an 8, mainly because I've got others that I want to give 9 to coming through this game. But I just want to balance out our score. With Romero, I think when Ange came in after Conte, when you're playing that high line at the back, he mainly has to get involved in a foot race with players as well. So if it's him or Villa involved in a foot race, when you're playing a low block, you're making a lot more tackles because you're defending for most of the game under Conte. So the more tackles you make, my theory is, the more chance you've got of getting a yellow card. And a lot of the time he was left as the last-ditch defender and he'd went out and take someone out. So I just think this system suits him. I think it suits him for not getting cards. I mean, it suits Van der Ven as well. If they pick up yellow cards, it's going to be last-ditch tackles around the edge of the penalty area. Because if he goes forward and scores a goal, it's not because he's going to go forward to lump someone, So I just think the system suits him, but we shall see over a season, won't we? And look, there's enough for 22 players to get 24 games each. We've got a minimum 48 games this season, so plenty of times. Right, we move on. AJ, Porro.
7.
Okay. That was short and sweet. Colin? Porro.
Shit, I feel like I'm being a heel, or not a heel, but just a 7. I that's the only score I could give him. He did a good job, but there wasn't anything too special. Yeah, sorry to copy you, AJ, but 7 for me as well.
Soren?
Oh, 7.
See, it's hard.
Yeah.
Phil?
I'll go with a 6, same as the Doji. I think, I just think that I don't know. I just think he had a similar sort of game to a Doji. I think it wasn't. I just think it was an average performance from him. I don't think it was.
I agree.
I
That's
don't think
why
it
I'm
was
arguing the same.
Yeah, I don't think it was to do with his performance as such. I think it was just the way the game panned out.
Do you know, it almost felt like we had a game of blankety blank going until you spoke, Phil. You had to be different.
I just think he had a pretty average game. Nothing to do with his sort of fault, really, but it was just the way the game sort of petered out. If it sort of went, if it was sort of like an end-to-end game, I think his performance would have arisen.
He did cut in and have that shot with his left foot that just went wide because
right on half time.
Thoughts of like him scoring again because he scored a couple like that in the corners.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Don't get me wrong. I have no doubt in Pedro Porro's ability or Doji's. I know I've given him a 6 and I'm being a little bit harsh on him, but I don't think it's to do with sort of them per se. I think it was to do with how the game panned out.
Mark?
Yeah, well, it's like the defense had so little to do. It's hard to like give them like points, to be honest. 7. You know, it was like he did his job. It was the defense. Hey, what? Just for that elbow.
That elbow was sweet.
Okay.
I thought for sure that fella's nose was broken for sure. He got him good.
It was accidental. Come on.
Yeah, no, for sure. But man, I was like, oh, rad. I was surprised there wasn't blood everywhere. It looked like
accidental. I thought I was watching a UFC.
Oh, come on. He was just trying to get over the top of him. That's a natural.
It was good.
First and foremost, I want to give Colin's cat 10. Because the comments coming in are funny. Anyway, Porro, yeah, he just had a steady Eddie game. He didn't do anything spectacular. Didn't have much to do because they didn't cause us anything apart from the 5 corners they got towards the end of the first half. Other than that, they were quite absent. So I'll give him a 6 because you can't really give him a 7 because he didn't do anything to warrant a 7. All right, yeah, he had the shot, but he should have scored it, really. He normally bangs them in, doesn't he? So for that fact, I'm only giving him a 6. Sorry, Porro, but I do love him. I think he's a fabulous player.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm giving him a 6 as well. Now, AJ, Basuma.
I'm going to give Basuma an 8. I think he put in a good performance and he took a very, very good goal. Very good goal. We don't score many from outside the area and it was hit with laser precision. So yeah, I'll give him an 8. He's made a very good start by trying to earn the trust and the credibility back from the fans and the manager.
Phil, Basuma.
Yeah, I think 8's pretty fair. I think he had to have this performance. I think he had to put in a performance like he did, and the goal just sort of topped it off, really. But like AJ said, I mean, he's got to kick on from this now. I don't think he's actually built the bridge yet, but he's building it. He's building the trust back with the team, the manager, and the club. putting these sort of performances in on a consistent basis. So let's hope he does that.
Soren Basuma.
I'm gonna find it hard. I'm gonna give him an 8 because he scored the goal. He was better than he has been for a long time. He showed a bit more passion. He showed more glimpses of what he can do. And I think for the fact that he scored that goal, then I can't give him too much less. So, has the draw been done for round 3? Have we got Doncaster? Am I reading that right?
No, well, I thought you put the Everton.
Oh
No.
No.
Everton must have beat Doncaster 3-0, I think. Because Rico's Everton fan.
I know QPR are playing because my husband's at the match.
Right. I just saw safely through to round 3, Doncaster. But
I think the Champions League clubs and the Europa League clubs have got a buyer through the first round of the League Cup.
Yeah, no.
The second round. The second round.
Sorry, I'm going to give this an 8.
Right, Colin.
Basuma, I'll give Basuma an 8, and I'll be the first to say I think Basuma got a little bit of a. I think he got it too hard from people, and I know that I'm gonna maybe get some sick for that. But like, young man, a lot of money, did something that
he's not so young though, is he anymore?
No, you're right, but I do stupider shit than that.
28, isn't he?
I probably did stupider shit than that 2 weeks ago, and I know that I'm not a professional footballer, and I know that but like. It's a thing that didn't used to be illegal. It's legal in a bunch of other countries, all surrounding, all these other European countries. And anyway, stupid thing, but we all forgave Lloris for driving with sick all over himself. Could have killed a bunch of people. So, we got to move past it. I think he did a good job at helping us move past it by playing well. Had he put in a poor performance, we would have all been all over him, of course. Yeah, I'll give him an 8. And long may it continue. If he keeps to playing like this, then we're in good shape. We got the player that we wanted from Brighton.
Mark Basuma.
Right now, I'm just going to do live on my phone, live Carabao Cup results, and if it Borough 0, Stoke 5, Barnsley 1, Sheffield United 0, Barrow and Derby is gone to penalties. Blackburn 1, Blackpool 2. Brighton 4, Crawley 0. Coventry 1, Oxford 0. Everton beat Doncaster 3-0. Fleetwood 2, Rotherham 1. Grimsby 1, Sheffield Wednesday 5. Harrogate 0, Preston 5. Leicester and Tranmere 4-0 to Leicester. Millwall lost 1-0 at home to Leyton Orient. Now, Ellie's game, QPR and Luton is 1-1 and it's gone to penalties. I wish I'd never started this now.
Wicks scored for Leicester as well in the 90th minute.
Oh, did he? Shrewsbury 0, Bolton 2, Walsall 3, Huddersfield 2. Oh, Watford 2, Plymouth 0. That's going to upset my son-in-law. Birmingham 0, Fulham 2. And Palace 3, Norwich 0. Oh, no, that's still going. 80th minute. Palace 3, Norwich 0. So that's that. Anyway, Basuma. Right. Whether any of us wanted him in the team or not, that's immaterial. He played. I mean, it was nice to see when he scored his goal. He went to the fans and offered an apology. And then he went to the manager and he hugged him, I think, and that's sort of an apology for him. I mean, he's still got a long way to go. I mean, hopefully with what's happened, this is a fire under his backside or a kick at the backside, and, because you don't want to see him on the catwalks modeling stuff or, what he's been up to. We want a footballer, and if he doesn't do it, sell him, but I'll give him an 8.
Ellie, Basuma.
Basuma, I'll go with an 8 as well, because I don't think it was a perfect performance, because he had 2 early passes that went astray. Yeah. But he commanded the midfield. That's what I liked. That's what we know Basuma can do. He would command the midfield, and he wanted the ball, and he was lively, got forward a lot, scored a cracking goal, fantastic goal, brilliant. And he doesn't score many goals, does he? But yeah, an 8. I think an 8 is a fair score.
That's his first goal for us. I'm giving him an 8 as well. AJ Kulusevski.
Oh, Kulu. Got to be a solid 8. Solid 8. I think he did. He did what Decky does. Do you know what I mean? He's strong. He's got great feet. I mean, you're not getting the ball off of him, are you? Let's be honest. I mean, even if you go in with a baseball bat, I don't think you're getting the ball off him. Great work to set Basuma up, and just was a danger. I think the whole match. He was an outlet. He was, for me, Kulu gets a solid 8.
QPR just won on penalties, by the way, because my husband was doing a live commentary on the penalties with me, because he supports QPR, unfortunately, for him.
Phil, Kulusevski.
Kulu.
Yeah. Kulu.
I'll give him a 7.
Oh,
7.
Oh, Phil.
No, I don't think. I don't think he played as well as you. I don't think he played as well as you lot think, really. Or well, in my eyes, anyway. I think he had a solid game. You know, he kept the ball well. I expect him to do that every time, anyway. That's one of his great attributes is holding the ball up for us. I think he brings a lot of good play to this team, but I didn't see him. He set up Basuma's goal. Yeah, granted. I don't know, man. I didn't think he deserved an 8. I don't think he put a stamp on the game as much as like Basuma did, or as well as the defenders played as well. So I'll give him a solid 7. A solid 7.
I like that. Solid. I like that. Solid 7.
Well, I was lucky not to watch the miserable buggers.
Sorry, I was eating a cracker.
I'm giving him an 8.
Yes, Soren.
No, I can see where Phil's coming from, but again, I just think with Kulu, he just don't stop, and sometimes you think he hasn't had a great game, but when you actually see how much work he's gone through, it might not be all creative, or it might not be all, glitzy and sparkly, but he does a lot of work. So I think for that reason, I'm going to go on an 8.
His defensive work is incredible. He is one of the most defensive-minded attackers we have.
And that's what I mean. He gets through a lot of work.
Yeah, I'll add to that, Soren, with Kulu, like just the way he plays. He's not massively exciting as a player.
Yeah.
But like what he does do is effective, right? Yeah. And I think that's why a lot of Spurs fans pass his performances by, because it goes unnoticed what he does in games.
What you've got to think about with Kulu is, a lot of people say he can't play on the wing, but what he does do when he's on the wing, he helps his right back as well. And he's very defensive. It makes it a solid side. And the same way he's playing that sort of middle, in the middle, but alongside Maddison, the work he goes through allows Maddison to do his bit, and it also helps Porro. So for that reason, that's why I think he deserves that 8.
Yeah, I think he's underrated as a player. I think.
Yeah. It's underrated. I think it's undervalued, maybe.
Yeah.
So I love Kulu. Ever since we got him, something about the way that he runs, and moves with the ball reminds me of Kane. I know that's dumb, and then people will be like, "You're stupid. You don't know ball." But He really does. He is really good at holding on to the ball. He's really good at using his body. He's smart. He's a smart player. He knows his limitations, but uses his intelligence to kind of propel himself past those limitations. Speaking on the game the other day, though, I was doing a watch along. You know, you got to like bring up comments. It's harder to see everything happening. So I didn't see a ton of them. I didn't notice him doing a lot, but I also didn't notice him doing anything bad. So that's a good thing. I got to say 7 for me. And it could be that he was better than that, but just based on what I remember seeing, 7.
Mark?
I will agree 100% with Colin because like I was trying to focus on my phone where I had Colin's show on and watch the football. I mean, I hate, like I've been on shows where they do watch-alongs and I hate it because you're trying to concentrate what's going on here and you're trying to look at your phone or your telly or whatever to watch football and you're like watching it and someone will say, oh, Mark, and you're like, what? And you miss half the game. You know, so, I mean, I prefer Kulu in the middle. Definitely. So, a solid 7. A solid 7, because I agree with what everybody else says about he does run around a lot and he puts a shift in.
Yeah. Right, I think 7 as well. I would give him an 8, but I don't think he did quite enough to get an 8. But he does. He's one of those players that he's like they say, his work goes unnoticed because he's such a hard-working player and he brings so much to our team, which a lot of people don't appreciate because they think that he's laboured and they think that he can't pass his player, but he does. He often beats his player.
He's an absolute workhorse.
Yeah, they catch up with him sometimes, and then he'll check back on his left. But he's an intelligent lad. I like the way he plays. I think he's fabulous the way he nurtures the ball. He's very intelligent. He knows what to do in tight situations as well. And if we had better strikers to finish off, he'd had a lot more assists because we had Kane when he got all those assists, remember? And Kane's a deadly finisher. So now he hasn't got them. His assists have gone down. But like you said, Adrian, he scored 8 last year. So, and he did for his standard, he had a poor season. But yeah. I'm looking forward to what he can offer us this season. And I think 7 is more of a fairer score. If he'd done a few more things, I would have given him an 8. But I think 7's fair.
I'm giving him an 8. I thought he had a very good game. And he got us going with the first goal. And the vision for the first pass was vital to get us going in that game. Gone on much longer without us scoring. The crowd might have got a little bit restless. Yeah, I'm giving him an 8. Okay. AJ, Maddison.
Maddison gets an 8 as well from me. I think he played well. The thing is with Maddison is most of anything that's positive and attacking comes through him. He's not as hardworking as Kulu, but I think he's got the creative edge over Kulu. The issue I have with Maddison is it's easy to get in his head, and he's so slight. Look at him stood next to Kulu. It looks like father and son. You know, he's a very slight build, and I think he gets bullied and roughed off the ball too easily. But I do think he had a solid performance. I would say 8.
Okay, Colin.
I keep eating. Sorry about that. So,
well, Colin, if you've got to go, give me Maddison. Give me Maddison, Odegaard, Son, Johnson, and Ange, right?
Yeah, sure thing. So Maddison, 8. He's looking more like he did at the beginning of his first couple games here, and I'm glad, and I'm hoping he can keep that up. So let's go 8 for James Maddison, and then you said Brennan Johnson. 6, and I know that's charitable. He actually, for all the bad things he does, he did have some moments where he was linking up pretty well with other players.
Right.
He doesn't look completely clueless.
Give me Odegaard and Son.
Odegaard, let's go 7. High 7 for him, and then Sonny. I'll give Sonny at 9. That's not his natural position. He said he has a hard time playing there. He did great.
And one more, Ange. One for Ange.
Ange was brave. Let's give Ange a 9 as well. I think Ange did. He changed some things around. So yeah,
Soren, you saying you got to go, and Colin's got a show after us in an hour, right? So I want you all to hop over at Colin's show in an hour.
Thanks, buddy.
Soren, have you got to go?
I can give you my scores. So Maddison, I'm going to go with an 8. I thought he was pretty good until he ran out of steam. Who else was there? Sorry, Brennan Johnson.
Yeah,
I'm going to give him a 6 as well. He managed to get his boots on the right feet. That's about as, and he did have a part to play in the first goal.
Odegaard and Son.
Odegaard, I think I'm going to give him a solid 7 because he showed some good glimpses. It was just the end product wasn't quite there, but he gave you a lot of hope for the future, and he did what he was supposed to do. Son, don't think I can go as. Can I give him a 9? 8.5. He scored 2. I don't think he deserves a 9 because I think he was lucky with the Van der Ven goal.
And
Ange. I don't know.
We don't take don't knows.
I'm gonna say an 8 because I don't think we played the best team in the league. So I don't, I think it was. I'm not going to say a guaranteed win, but I couldn't see anything else but a win. So I don't think he can necessarily take all the credit for us winning 4-0 because I think it was on the cards. So I'll say an 8. And with that, I'm going to say good night. Come on, you Spurs, and great to see you all. And
right, okay.
Thanks,
We'll get you back.
Unfortunately, I won't see you for a couple of weeks now, so I'll see you soon.
Right, are you available Sundays though?
Sorry, Adrian?
Are you available Sundays? Because Ian's going to be away in Canada.
I'll
message you. We'll find out then.
I should be about this Sunday for sure.
All right. Nice to
know. Then. Catch you later.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Have you got to go, Phil? You all right?
No, I'm okay, mate.
You all right, AJ?
I'm an insomniac, mate. I'm nearly always awake.
So we'll carry on as normal then. AJ, give me your Madison and go through the panel. Madison.
Right. I already did Madison, didn't I? I said 8.
All right. I'm sorry. All right, we'll start again. Right. I haven't done Mark Madison. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. It's like everyone said. Like at the moment, he's like he was the first 10 games. Now there was someone on someone's channel. He's a Leicester fan. I can't remember his name, and he said,
David Clark?
"That's the one."
Yeah.
And it was when we bought Madison. He said, "You watch. He'll have a few, say 15 good games, and then he'll fall off a cliff and get injured, and then he'll be out for a while." And what he said was exactly correct. So at the moment, he's doing his bit, but he's, I just want him to put that season in. Well, we got like 50 games or something this season, so he's not going to play every game. But I'll give him a 7. But I want to just see the consistency out of him over a season. Whether he only plays half the games, but,
Ellie?
Yeah, he was very busy. He's got fantastic vision. Made a beautiful run when Romero found him. Unfortunately, he hit it straight at the keeper. So, I don't know really, because he didn't do enough to impress me for an 8. So I think I'll give him a 7.5. I'll go do a Soren and I'll give him a 7.5.
Okay. And me? Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8. Much better from him. Right, we come down to Odegaard now. AJ, Odegaard?
Odegaard, I think, gets a solid 7. A great debut for him. He was very lively, very confident. Gave the fullback a headache. Fullback didn't know what. I think the fullback was a decent fullback. He was young and quite pacey, but he didn't know what to do. Like Odegaard Odegaard gave him a headache the whole time he was on. So I think a 7.
Phil, Odegaard?
Yeah, I'll go a 7. You know, it was his debut, so you know, let's give him a bit of credit. You know, a lot of the limelight would have been on him. You know, being his debut, and I think he made an impression with his dribbling skills and in his confidence of trying to take on a player. Do you know what I mean? I think we've been missing that for a while. So yeah, a solid 7. I think he did all right.
Mark?
Yeah, that's the same. A 7 from me. He impressed me with his willingness to take his man on that we haven't seen for ages. You know, and his first touch on the ball was outstanding, especially one that got pinged over to him. Would have been in the first half, and he just plucked it out the sky. You know, but it was his debut. You know, it's not. If you look at his stats, they're not so good, but the eye test, it was promising. Mm-hmm. Let's just say that promise. The promise is there.
Ellie, Odegaard.
He excited me. I thought he's the type of player I like. You know, he takes on his man, got quick feet. You know, still learning the game, as you know, he's still a bit raw, but I think 7 is a nice mark for him because he didn't quite get an 8, but because he was so exciting to watch, that's what I am looking for. And it was nice to see him he wasn't frightened to take on his man. As soon as he got that ball, his first thought was to bomb down that wing or just cut inside or go to the byline and beat his man that way with his quick feet. He just needed a little bit more cultured thinking when it came to the pass at the end. But that'll come because they'll work with him because he's got talent, that's for sure.
Yeah, I'm going with a 7 as well. Now we go to Johnson, AJ.
Oh.
4.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I think I would have gone 5, but for me, 5 is a bang average game, neither good nor bad. I don't think he did anywhere near enough of anything. Just in contrast to Odegaard, you look at the two of them. I mean, for me, I don't want to. I'm not big into putting our players down and ripping into them. So I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it at that. I don't think he did anywhere near enough of anything for.
Phil Johnson.
I think a 4 as well. To be honest, a 5 is sort of, you know, just average, below average. So I think Johnson did one good thing on the goal with Kulu, but other than that, I'm struggling to see what he actually did to affect the game. And it's not just against Everton; it's against Leicester as well. And I'm just not. I want him to do well. I want him to. Let me give him a bit of back in here. I think he's better as a forward, not as a winger.
I agree.
So I'll give him a little bit of leeway on that. He's being played out of position, but he's flattering to deceive at the moment. I just think we need to cash in on him. To be honest with you, I don't think he's ever going to play in the forward position because obviously Solanke's there and Son will be there if Solanke's missing. So yeah, I just can't see a future at this club for Johnson, to be honest, even early on in his career.
Mark Johnson?
Are minus numbers allowed?
Wow.
No. Well, he does nothing. He does absolutely nothing. You know, I mean, well, put it this way. The reason I'm fed up with him is because I've been on several other channels defending him. When we bought him, everyone was saying, oh, he's rubbish. He's this. He's that. No, I said, no, he's young. He's young. Just wait. He'll prove you wrong. But he's let me down now. And so I give up defending him now. I'm not defending him. I think he must have pictures of Ange naked with kangaroos or something to keep getting in the team. or something like that must be going on because I don't understand why he's in the team. To be honest, I mean, I'll give him a 3.
Okay.
That tickles. Oh, I'm just looking at Phil laughing his head off.
Yeah, you got me there.
Well funny, Mark.
Well,
yeah, other than the naked picture of Ange, which I've permanently got into my head now.
With kangaroos. With kangaroos.
Yeah, it's a kangaroo.
Yeah. I forgot about the kangaroos. I was focusing on Postecoglou naked. No, I agree with Mark and I agree with AJ. I can't give him more than a 4 because even though he done that dribble, that's all he offered, right? And you're a winger, right? His dad was a striker, by the way. He played for Ipswich, I believe. I think he might have started his career.
Was it David Johnson?
David Johnson. I think it was David Johnson. But his dad was a really good striker. So I reckon he's not going to get his chance there.
He played for Liverpool as well.
He is Ange Postecoglou's favourite because he keeps on putting him in.
Exactly.
When he doesn't really warrant to be put in. Because look at Pape Matar. Like I was saying earlier to you, Adrian, Pape Matar plays one bad game and he gets dropped, right? I can think of 10 really bad games that Brennan Johnson's had and he still gets put in. So it's a bit unfair in that respect. But I think 4, I can't think of anything past that score, you know, because he didn't offer anything apart from that little dribble, which he did with Kulu, and that was it. The rest of his play was non-existent.
I'll give him a 4 as well. Yeah. So
Adrian, I just want to add, just to give him a little bit of backing, that he is definitely being played out of position. When he played for Forest, he was playing up front most of the time, and he did have some really good games. Do you know what I mean?
Forest played counter-attacking football, though.
Yeah. I mean, his game isn't suited on the wing. His game isn't not suited on the wing. His game is getting in behind through the channels and beating the defenders on with pace.
Yeah,
that's his game.
No, I never knew this.
This is Dan. Look,
I never knew this. Why the hell is he being played there?
Well, because Ange picks him there, because Ange's system is based on, this is why Werner's back, Ange's system is based on 2 wide wingers with the electric pace that hug the touchline. And he look, Ange's picking him, we're just doing our critique on the player. So Ange lives or dies on the hill however team performs this season. He's got
my thing with pictures of
this season as far as
kangaroos.
I'm not just giving him Christmas, not me, but not that what I think will count for anything anyway. But
he needs to drop him to the bench because the boy is struggling. He needs to, and he's really good when he comes on as an impact sub. You know, he's
Can I just quickly say I don't see with Johnson all this pace that people keep talking about. When you look at Kulu is deceivingly quick. People don't think Kulu's quick, but he's quicker than he appears because he's a lump. He's a lump and he powers up. But Johnson is late on in the game. Exactly what Ellie said. He's an impact sub. You bring him on 10, 15 minutes left to go when the team are tired. You ping balls in behind and you get him to run. If you watch him play, when he's out wide, he doesn't play to face his man up and beat him. He gets the ball played into space and makes the run in behind, because I think he's quicker. He's got quick acceleration, but once he's got to his top speed, once he's got to his top speed, what's the Everton fullback, Malenko, is it? He kept pace with him, and he's not quick. He's not quick.
It's a testament to how bad he played. We gave it to Odebert more than him.
Exactly.
Because I don't think the players trust to pass to him, because he's wasteful and he doesn't use his pace, like you said. Right?
I think you've all made a justified critique on him, on his performances. The thing that's got us all perplexed is why Ange keeps picking him. Well, there can only be one reason for
it's
it.
the photos. It is them photos he's got.
I mean,
the only thing, I don't think you see. I don't think you see him in the starting 11 against Newcastle.
Well, we may not. But the reason he's been picking him, there can only be one reason, and that he shows something in training he doesn't show us fans on the pitch. Because otherwise, you wouldn't pick him.
I think the reason he might get picked is because if you watch him, Ange wants his two wingers to hold the width. Yeah. And if you watch him, Johnson does that. That's about the only thing. He doesn't beat his man. He rarely gets in behind.
He is fast.
He does hold the width. He does hold the width, which stretches the game and allows, if you're going to play inverted fullbacks, you need that width so that your inverted fullbacks can come and they're not going to get crowded out.
That's exactly it. You hold the width. You stretch the defender.
Anybody can stand on the
We're just using him to, for his positioning. His positioning.
He's not in the side. He's not. Oh, AJ's gone. He's not in the side for that. I mean, it's more than that. He's not in the side for one-dimensional things. And obviously sees something in him that we haven't, or that we don't. I mean, he wouldn't get in and put on the pitch just to hug the touchline. No. I mean, you could put Kulu in the side for that if you're worried about that again. And people complain about that. I mean, I just think that
when we played Villa away, he played very, very well. And when we played Arsenal away, he played particularly well in the first.
Well, let's not also on that. Let's not take away.
There is parts of his game that are good when he's on song. But he hasn't been on song for many games.
And also, away at Leicester, second half, we all complained he didn't take his man on.
Yeah.
In the first half, away at Leicester, he had 3 shots at goal. He had, in the penalty, he had the turn and swivel, which was good technique, which the keeper saved. He had the shot, which rolled past the far post. And he had one from outside the box into the box. Plus, he made 5 defensive tackles, more than any other player. And that surprised me because I'm not really a stats person. I'm an old-fashioned eye test person. So he had a good half against Leicester. Just the second half. If it had that half in the second half and reversed them around, people would say probably he didn't have a bad game. He was okay. He was okay against Leicester. We want to see him beat his man. That's what we want to see. I mean, that's the biggest complaint with him. But he was out, so I can see why he got picked against Everton, right? But he can't go on like that. We need more from him. We've moaned about Maddison and Basuma had to step up this season because they dropped off the second half of last season, and we were lucky that Emerson and Davis could pair up the centre backs. And when people talk about a system, the way we're playing and play, bear in mind after them 10 games. Basuma was suspended 3 times. Romero was suspended once. VDV was out injured. Romero was out injured. We had
Maddison got injured.
Yeah, we had 22 injured players last season, more than any team in the Premier League. And people are complaining about the system. Now, this season, I will complain about the system. If we have a fit squad throughout the system and a season goes to pieces, then I'll complain about it. But I can't do an honest assessment on the system last season. Different if you're an Ange out or a Levy out or something like that. You might come at it differently. And I understand that. But judge the system over a season Now, I'm not saying we've got to be totally injury free, but when we don't have a horrendous list of injuries, that's all I'm saying. That's what I'll do anyway. I mean, up to fans what they choose to do. I mean, like, but that's what I should do. I should judge the system because I'll be honest, I get what it is. I ain't seen enough of it, and I ain't seen enough consistency of our players and fitness throughout the squad for us to show us whether this system's good or not. I mean, Danny doesn't like the inverted fullbacks. That's fair enough. That's an opinion. I ain't got a problem with that. But I mean, like, before I come down, before you wield the axe on things, I mean, like, I want to see more of it. I want to see more of it with a fit squad. So that's just me. But Johnson, at the moment, I go and watch these players. People know I go and watch. I'll throw video ups for everyone when we link with the player. Whether we were interested in him or not, we find out later, or wherever I get rid of. I'll go and have a look. And like, when I looked at Johnson before we got him, I'm thinking, well, Paratici likes him. Hold on, the scouts, that's not they like him. And I'm thinking, I don't get it. I didn't get it before he came. I mean, like, he was one I didn't get,
Did we sign him on a couple of FA Cup games? Because Forest went quite far in the FA Cup that season, and he ripped Arsenal to bits.
In the Championship, he had done well.
Yeah.
I think one season for Forest, he'd scored about 10 or 11 goals or something. And for his age and doing what he was doing, he had impressed a lot of people. But some players don't kick on. Now he's in the Premier League. He's had that one season with Forest, I think, in the Premier League. Right? I don't know how many goals he scored. I know he banged quite a few. 11, and just in the Championship, his stats were, listen, we wouldn't have gone for him. Whatever his stats are, they'd be good because we'd have done the data analysis as well. So, like, his stats were good. But, stats don't always, like,
I think we picked the wrong player out of the two at Forest.
You think Gibbs White?
Yeah. I think Gibbs
Brian
White.
Davis. I like him. I like him, but I'm not sure Gibbs White as a. I don't know what an edge midfield player is now, because when he wanted Conor Gallagher, that seems to me he wants to bring an energetic box-to-box player in, in which case, like, we'll go get Ederson if you want it to be a box-to-box and whatever, or go and get Fratesi at Juventus, or go and get, I'm thinking I was going to say Fofana in France at Fofana. I'm not sure where he is now.
He's gone to Milan now, isn't he?
Is he? And there's another guy we've looked at Metz or someone in France, but he's a kid as they've looked at. So I wouldn't be. We can talk to that in a minute after we've done these. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about other players in a minute. Okay, so I think we've firmly put Johnson through the mincer, and we all want him to do well. So let's hope he can turn it around. Okay, so we got to do Son and Ange. So we do Son, Phil. Sonny.
Yeah, typical Sonny performance. Clinical.
2 goals. Finished. Lost his pace. Rubbish. Sell him.
I've said it in. I've said it in previous chats on the different YouTube channels. I think it's a myth. I think him losing his pace is a myth. I think especially on that Pickford chance, where
I said fine, but we'll be screwed without his goals, and we will, because we don't know what Solanke's going to do yet.
Yeah,
we don't know.
Yeah, exactly. But I think Sonny's still got that spark. I think he's going to be our top goal scorer this season, and without a doubt, he's the best finisher at the club. And I can't believe the amount of doubt that's on Sonny for his fan base. I think he brings so much to this team, and may it continue.
Marks?
Me?
No, I'm talking about Phil. You didn't give him a mark.
Oh,
Mark. Sorry. I'd give him a 9. A 9.
AJ?
I own everything I say, good or bad. If I make a judgment, if I make a comment on anybody or anything, I own what I say. I have been one of the people saying Son's losing his pace. I have been one of the people saying he shouldn't be captain. I still stand by both of those. with the exception of this game just gone, in the Leicester game, he was blowing out of his arse most of the game. Like, he made a couple of runs forward and he was tired, and he just wasn't putting in the effort. This game, I don't know what happened, but Son turned up, which is what I've been wanting. I love Son. I absolutely love the guy. I think he's incredible. I think he's an elite finisher. I think he is somebody that is proud to wear the Spurs shirt, which is what you want as a fan. You want a man coming on that pitch that understands what it is to represent that football club. And that's what you get with him. Is he slowing down? Yes. The back end of last season, pre-season, and with the exception of the match just gone, the Leicester game included, he hasn't been on it. He showed up. He led by example. He put in an incredible performance. He didn't stop running. He's got to get a 9 out of 10 for me.
Okay.
I would say a 10 out of 10, but for me, it is only Everton, so I can't give him a 10. If he was scoring those 2 goals against an Arsenal or a City, then yeah, the man gets a 10 out of 10. I just hope that the performance we saw against Everton is what we can expect from him this season, because he deserves to be back to his best, and he deserves to have everyone singing his name.
Off the cuff, he's a club legend anyway already.
Absolutely.
I think he's got 84 assists and 160 odd goals, right? Which is a phenomenal. I think he's like maybe number 7 on our all-time list or something like that. I'd have to check that. And I think my goals are quite close. It might be 170 odd goals, but I'm saying he's got double the amount of goals to his assists, and to have 84 assists is phenomenal anyway.
Yeah.
Alone the amount of goals. Mark, your marks for Son?
Well, yeah, I agree. Everything that AJ said. Like, he's a legend at the club already. I mean, he's just got to top it off now with winning something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it'd be such a shame if when he decides to hang his boots up, if he ain't won nothing here either.
We said that with Kane, didn't we?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's one that's gone and didn't win nothing. But is Sonny losing his pace? Time will tell. All right, he done it against Everton. But, you know, to be honest, I don't want him dropped from the team because he's our best finisher. But he was very ineffective against Leicester on the left. You know, he looked far better in the middle. And he is our best finisher.
Mark, would you suffer a little less of Sonny's pace if he's still going to get us 15 to 20 goals a season?
Well, exactly. Yeah. Christ, you take that all day, every day.
When we say he's losing his pace, right?
He's lost the turbos, hasn't he? He's lost the turbo blasters, right?
I do respectfully disagree with you. I like with AJ. I agree with most points. To be fair, he's, but I just think with him losing his pace, he's still quick. He's still quick. Do you know what I mean?
I'm not saying I never said he wasn't.
He's still a very quick player. But like, how do we measure that he's lost his pace? Like, how do we measure that?
There are stats for it.
Well,
I don't go and look for those stats because I'm in the
that's what I would like to know as a stat. You know,
to be honest,
off the mark when he's traveling with the ball or without the ball. You know, running onto the ball.
Well, a different comparison. Bentancur's our fastest midfielder, but Kulu's faster than Bentancur.
Yeah,
people say Kulu's slow, probably because he's big, like AJ says. He might seem deceptive because of his size, right? And Bentancur's not slow going forward with the ball, right? So, and Kulu's not slow. Even Richarlison's fast, believe it or not. He is fast, right? As well. So, okay, anyway, you gave him.
I never gave him a mark.
Go on.
Mark's got to give the mark.
2 goals. 8.
8.
Yeah.
Lee?
Right. I want to mention about his pace first and foremost, right? So I think what Sonny does, he wants to go fast, right, and pick up the pace. And what he finds is that he runs out of steam because his legs are getting older. So I don't think he's lost that initial pace, but I think he's lost the pace to run on and keep that pace up. But what impressed me a lot in this game, when he was running with Van der Ven, what he did, he saw that he was running, right? And then when he got to the halfway line, he realised that he had to pick up the pace, right? So he can really pick up the pace very quickly. But when he's going for a long, long run, I think he loses it a little bit. So he has lost that little bit of extra pace that he's got to put on the second burners. No, because you always have your first burner, but it's the second burner that I've noticed, right? But he has to pace himself now because he's older, right? What I like about him, he brings a lot to our game, you know, and he's always looking for the ball, but sometimes his ball skills can be found wanting at times, you know, where it's sort of like a hot cake. But having said that, I love him because he's so clinical in front of goal. There's no one in the Premiership like him apart from when we had Kane. He's better clinically, clinical finisher Kane. But Sonny, I think he's the second best, even better than Haaland, because Haaland gets it laid on a plate, whereas Sonny, he makes his own goals a lot of the time, or, you know, when he bangs them in. But this year, I think we are better at deploying him as a striker alongside Solanke rather than on the wing. But I'm afraid they're going to probably push him to the wing because you can't really you can have two in there. We've always had in the past two in there. So there's no reason why, that we can't. But I just can't see Postecoglou doing it.
AJ's got to go. He's given Ange an 8. So you gave him.
Yeah, I'm giving him an 8.5. Actually, I'll give him 8.5.
Right.
Because I don't think it's quite a 9, but 2 goals, fabulous.
I'm going to give him a 9, and because I just thought he led by example. I just liked everything. He was chasing everything down. I just thought he had an excellent game.
Yeah.
Much better than some of his recent games. I found that against Leicester, this is another thing when you're judging a player, you've got to judge what's going on around him as well. Udogie, who's supposed to do overloads with him, was off it. Udogie wasn't on point, right? And there's like different areas of pace and trickery that a winger needs, which Udogie, when he was close to a player, he was like quick-footed and he was trying to change from feet to feet and get past, or he'd pass the ball back. With Sonny, he might have just lost a bit of reflexes there in that sort of a position. When you've got to stand a player up, when you've stopped with the ball basically and your defender's against you, and now you've got to, you know, spring into action left or right. I think he might be a bit slower there in doing that. Maybe his reflexes are a little bit. He's still got an eye for goal, can score with both feet. I just think in those situations he looks a little bit off it to me. I don't know. I haven't really. It's just something.
I'd love to know that stat though. Do you know what I mean? Just
how fast he is.
Just how fast he is. You know, running onto the ball or chasing the ball. Do you know what I mean?
Google it, someone. Google it. It might come up.
I agree with Ellie. I agree with Ellie. He's not got the blistering pace like he showed against Burnley anymore.
The afterburners, you reckon he's
lost them? The real afterburners. You know, I'm not knocking him. I love Sonny to bits. I want him to stay forever. I want him to stay forever, but let's face it, he's not going to.
I mean, when do you think he's lost that? When did he lose it last season? Well,
it's his age. You know, he's possibly some of last season.
Some of these slight players, they just keep their pace. They don't drop off. You look at some of the older players now that are playing at 36, you know, Giroud and Ronaldo and Messi and people like that. They've still got the goal to play the game, and they've got all that experience as well, like, you know. So I think he's Sonny's got all the guile and everything that he's built up over years. I think he's good for a couple of years, easy for us. I mean, each season fans will say get rid of him, and if it's next season it'll be out of that. But listen, I would even keep him after that if he was on the bench and use him as an impact sub. I would still keep him until it really, some players when they're really shot and they're gone, then you with a player like Sonny, you wait to that moment, and he'll know himself. He'll know.
Yeah.
To say that Sonny's slowed down is no slight at him, because let's face it, he was lightning fast. He was absolutely lightning. Now, if he's only lost 1 or 2% of that, he's still quick. And you can't say he isn't.
That's what I was trying to do before, Mark. He's still a quick player. You know what I mean?
But let's face it, he hasn't got that Burnley goal pace anymore. That's what I'm trying to say. Where he just 3 seconds, he ran the whole length of the pitch and slotted it in the net. I don't believe he's gotten, certainly not, like Ellie said, over them long distances anymore. He's still quick.
I'm not so sure, man. I'll leave it at that anyway. I'm not.
Yeah.
All right, then, Phil, we'll come to you for Ange. Give us your Ange verdict. Numbers.
I'd give him an 8.
Okay.
Simply because I think he made some brave selections. One being Basuma. I expected him to be in there, but I think it was just a brave selection for Ange to do, and with Odobert as well. Odobert was a brave decision, bringing in a kid at 19 years of age. Do you know what I mean? So, and they both paid off in the game, and they both played well. So that's why I'm going to give him an 8.
Yeah, and he's give a young player a game early 90 minutes. There was lots of criticism from fans, and it was just, they had a point last year about late substitutions for young players coming on. I think he's got more confidence in his squad now. I think he's got more confidence to throw Gray and Bergvall in. You want to see him play for an hour and a half. You want to see him play a game, but I think you'll see him play for halves in an hour before that happens. But we'll see what happens in the Europa League, because I think that's a good chance to give them a game, 8 games. If you can win 4 or 5 of them, you might have 3 you can play around with, Your Ange vote, Mark?
Yeah, I agree with Phil. Yeah, an 8. But I don't want to drag the team down, so I don't want to sound negative. But let's face it, Ange won't have a much easier game this season to manage, because we just ran riot over them the whole game. You never
know they're easy games till afterwards when you
no, of course not, of course not, of course not. But let's face it, he could have brought me and you on it at halftime, Adrian, and we'd have still won that game.
Yeah, we played well within ourselves. I thought we stepped off the pace like the second goal, to be honest. I thought there was just a little dip in what we were doing. And that can sink in and be a bad thing at times if a team scores a goal against you. You all of a sudden, now you've got to pick it up again. Ellie, Ange?
Yeah, on that point, right, about just before I go on to Ange, I don't think we had that killer instinct. When we went 2-0 up, I turned round to Phil P and I said to him, we haven't got that killer instinct to kill a team off. And if they'd scored it with those those free kicks and the corners, if they'd scored one of those, it would have been a bit squeaky bum time. We know what happens. We tend to panic and draw or lose the game. All right. So I was quite concerned about that. But I think Ange has worked on the set pieces. It looks like he has anyway, because we were doing a bit of zonal and a bit of man marking as well, which I like. I like the mix. I prefer it, right? Actually, I prefer proper man marking, but we're not going to get that in this day and age. So it worked well, and Vicario done well as well. But with Ange, I think he deserves an 8 because he made the substitutions when he saw Maddison was tiring, and other players weren't pulling their weight. He probably thought, right, I'll take them off because they're not doing quite what I want them to do. And Andrew's quite ruthless like that. So what criticism he had last season, he wasn't making the substitutions early enough. But I think he made the first one on the 64th, 65-minute mark, which gives that player enough time to affect the game. Like, you give them 25 minutes, half an hour, it's nice. But when you give them 5-6 minutes or even 1-2 minutes, what do you expect the player to do? It's an insult to the player as well, because he's been sitting on the bench that long and you're only giving him a minute or two. Nah. So I like that. And I would have liked to have seen more of Bergbold earlier on, because I think he deserved to come on. I'd like to, but
plenty of time. There's plenty of time for us to see all these players.
8 is a good score for him, because he weren't quite a 9 and it wasn't bad as a 7, even though 7's not a bad score. But
I'm giving him an 8 as well. Now we'll have a chat about. So how are you feeling, guys? It's 2 games. I know people were disappointed after Leicester, but we have got 4 points, which is no bad start, right? And let's be fair. I mean, I know the fans react differently, but the next 2 games aren't going to determine our season. We've got 3 cup competitions and the rest of the league season to play. But it is, the tension's there, the pressure's on for Newcastle away. Now, how are you feeling? I mean, Ange picked his squad of 20, and considering that Solanke and Bentancur have got to come back, and Mikey Moore will get time. That's another 3. So with the 20, that gives you 23 minimum if they're named in the squad. And I expect Mikey Moore, he's underage anyway, so he'd go on the B list, I would have thought. So that's 23. Even with those, Phil, his team selection, he's going to have some team selections to deal with during the season, isn't he? He's going to have a lot of limitations, because I like to pick the team selections for fun, and sometimes I was 2 players out for this week. Other times I'm 1 out. But with Ange, you don't know what you're going to get. Are you happy with the shape of the squad, even though we could do another 1 or 2, couldn't we, before Friday?
Yeah, I'd like another 1 or 2 players in, to be honest with you. Especially in left back or left centre back role. I'd like another winger, to be honest. But I don't think it's going to happen. But onto the Newcastle game, I think it's a good time to play him at the moment. It's not going to be easy. It's never easy against Newcastle away. Let's be honest. But I think they've got a lot of injuries at the moment, and their form isn't great. So I think we can get. I'm pretty confident about this game. I'm pretty confident. I think we'll get a narrow win. I think it'll be a 2-1 win.
We'll go in depth on it Friday when we discuss the Europa League. Because we have been going over 2.5 hours, and I just want to get your general consensus of how you're feeling about the start. I don't think it's a bad start at all, actually.
I mean the start. Yeah, Adrian, the start itself. I think we should have got 3 points against Leicester. Let's be honest. I mean, a 1-1 draw felt like a loss. But we move.
There was also the danger. We beat Leicester and Everton, and all the fan base are going the quadruples on then, aren't they? Because we'd have had 6 points.
I don't know about that, but
Jim will be going the quadruples on anyway, he will.
But I really wanted them 6 points, because we've got a run of fixtures now that are going to be tough. I just felt that having them 6 points would have been really important.
It's a bit of a safety net, isn't it?
Like you say, Mark, it's a bit of a safety net. And I think having them 2 points is important. But we move. We've got 4 points. The Everton game was a great response to the Leicester game, and I think we go into the Newcastle game with a little bit of confidence. And like I said, it's a good time to play them.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you think? I mean, we had a 20 man squad, didn't we? 9 subs there, and that's without Solanke, Bentancur, and Mikey Moore even, and without. I mean, I'm expecting at least one in this. Surely we're going to get Langer's pull a rabbit out of the hat, or Paris we get at least one more in, surely. And what do you think that'll be? Because I don't think it'll be on the forward line. I'd be surprised if it's.
My goodness. Right. Now, the first 2 games, yes, we're all disappointed with the Leicester one. The Everton one it's a given. You know, I mean, I would have liked 6 points just for that safety net, because we got some. Put it this way: go and beat Newcastle at St James's Saturday or Sunday, whenever it is, and I'll be more than impressed. You know, because the last 2 times we've been there, we've lost 10-2, isn't it? Was it 6-1 and 4-1? The last 2 games there.
1-0 we lost.
Oh, all right. It's 10-1 then. It's 10-1 then in the last 2 games we've been there. It was 6-1, 6-1, and 4-0.
Yeah,
you know.
I think the crowd is a big, you know.
It always is at St James's.
The main reasons why we sort of fell against Newcastle.
We beat them 3-2. And Eric Dyer scored that header.
Yeah.
The own goal. We beat them 3-2. We have beaten them
5-0 and all up there, and all we beat them.
Yeah.
We haven't
beaten them in recent years.
No.
And they beat us at White Lane 2-1 as well.
Yeah. Well, you know,
we beat them 4-1, didn't we?
And what was the other half of your point, Adrian? Because
I was saying that, like, well, we picked 20 for the game, haven't we?
Yeah.
That's without Bentancur and Solanke. I mean, surely this is going to give Ange a nice selection headache, because if he puts them 2 in, he's got to take 2 out, isn't he? Who'd you take out? Now, we can all pick Johnson. Werner's not playing, otherwise we'd pick him, right? You can all say, well, Johnson goes for Solanke or Bentancur, then that probably would mean that Decky would have to go back out on the wing again, right?
Yeah.
Because you'd have to do that. But like, I mean, like, and that's without bringing anyone else in. So we're getting into a position with the squad. I think, you know, I used to ask people, are we treading water going backwards or going forwards? I think we're treading water and we've moved a bit forward. And to confirm that, we need to see them young kids get 90 minutes under their belts and show that they can play for 90 minutes under their belts. Because although Bergvall and Gray look good, Gray's done it in the Championship. I'm sure he can do it, right? It's a tough environment. I'm not so sure with Bergvall, although Bergvall looks very skillful and very talented, but you still got to be able to do it for 90 minutes. And you can't judge these players on one 90-minute game. You need to see them play 5 or 6. So the best chance of them really getting minutes under their belt to prove that they are really good is probably in the Europa League, in my opinion, not risking them in one League Cup or the FA Cup. If we draw, which we will, we're going to have 8 different teams in the Europa League, 8 different. Now, hopefully, you know, I mean, the spread comes out well for us home and away.
Yeah.
There will be some good teams in there, but we should get to, if we're in pot 1, there's 8 pots of 4 teams.
Let's hope we don't get 2 or 3, say, the other side of Europe. You know, 6-hour flight and all that stuff.
4 teams instead of like 4 pots of 8 teams or whatever, and you're drawing 2 out of each pot. I'm not quite sure. I've forgotten how it works. But if it's 8 pots of 4 teams, you're going to get 8 teams, but they're all going to be different ones. So then we'll see what we get in the draw. And then Ange will think about that. You know, it's down to the team, isn't it, to go and do the analysis on the opposition and like he says, pick the team for each particular game. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt.
Ellie, what are you thinking about the fact we got Bentancur and Solanke? Well, Solanke's definitely going to come in and get games, and so is Bentancur. Mikey Moore, Europe probably. And if he shines, he can play on. For the under-21s, Mikey Moore mainly played on the left, and we got abundance on the left now. You got Son, Odegaard, Werner, Mikey Moore. You know, I mean,
I'd like to see Mikey Moore get a chance, like off the bench, but with quite a lot of minutes, not just 5 or 10. Give him at least half hour or 45 minutes, even. You know,
it would have been ideal for him Saturday.
Yeah.
Because we had that game completely in the back. I'm not even sure if he was even on the bench.
Yeah.
Was he on the bench Saturday?
Yeah, he was, wasn't he?
Well,
I'm sure he was.
Well, to be honest, he should have thrown him on.
He was the under-21s, wasn't he?
Oh, all right.
I didn't do the print out of the squad, the whole squad. I did it on the phone because I was going to the game and I got it because of going to the game. Obviously, I did it on the phone.
He was for the under-21s, though, wasn't he?
So it'd still be in the lineup on your phone, Eddie. Ellie.
Yeah.
It'll be in the lineup on your
but
phone.
My phone's gone dead.
All
right, but I'd love to see Solanke and Sonny play together as a partnership. It'd be brilliant, you know, because they're both quick with their brains and they're both really good on the ball. You know, like when you pass them the ball, especially Solanke, I think he's got more technical skill, but Sonny's got more, and he's clued up and he's very clinical in front of goal. So it'd be lovely to see him join up. Because when he was playing on the left, I think he was wasted. I don't know. I like Sonny to be in the middle so he can affect the game more. I don't know, but the stats show that he's more. I remember being on the Irish Hotspur and they did the stats, and it showed that Sonny's more effective when he's played on the left, and that's why he's being put on the left. But I prefer him when he's in the middle because he's so clinical.
And me.
Starr, Forster, Dragerson, Gray, Davies, Werner, Bergvall, Richarlison, Spence. So, you know, you're looking. I would have thought that somehow I think Werner's going to. I would have thought that Davies would be under threat and Werner would be under threat and then subs for Solanke and whatever, which would make us look strengthen us a bit more. You know, I'm surprised Forster's come straight back in at the expense of Austin, who I thought did well pre-season. But, you know, they see more in training. He's in his last year, so perhaps Austin will be just be number 3.
Yeah.
Right. I think we've done the show went well, I thought, on to go. I want to thank all my guests. I'm not going to name them. They know who they are. I want to thank all of you in the chat. Thank you very much. Big up to all of you, especially who can bother to take the time to watch us on playback. Like I say, Friday's show at 8. We do a show Friday at 8 and Sundays as well. 3 regular shows at 8 o'clock UK time. And this Friday we'll be doing the rundown on our Europa League opposition, the 8 teams we've got to face. We'll be doing the show from 8 to 11 o'clock because 11 o'clock is when the transfer window shuts. So we're going straight through to 11. I'm sure we'll find enough to talk about. Plus any other news that crops up between now and then, if we get a new signing in or whatever. News I can give you is that Solomon has signed for a season loan to Leeds United. I can tell you that our under-21s, our under-18s won 5-1, but our under-21s lost 1-0 to Newcastle.
Oh, that's
and the last game, and our ladies don't play until late in September, their first game, but the last game they won 2-1 against Southampton ladies. Prior to that, they beat London Lionesses 5-1, wasn't it? Or 5?
Yeah, London City Lionesses. Yeah, 5-1.
5-1 or 6-1, something like that. Yeah.
Is it 5-1 or 6-1? 5-1, I think.
Yeah, that is about that. So I will play you out with.
Come on.